What is going on? Welcome back to the Freeaboos podcast. Working on episode number 13. Doing a triple manga reading, starting with episode 1148, followed by 1149 and 1150.
Yep, playing a little bit of catch-up here between schedules and everything. Haven't had time to sit down and truly record, but...
Let's keep this a bug. It's mostly my fault. Family wanted to come visit, and, you know, I like those guys.
Yep, which is perfectly fine.
So,
we're going to go straight into chapter 1148, which is titled Ronya, which is one of the children taken hostage by Gunko. And,
it starts off
with...
And
the first panel, Gunko, I think for one of the few times in One Piece, we have a person walking the plank.
Yeah, I can't think of another time we've actually had someone walk the plank.
This is the closest we've gotten in a pirate manga of someone walking the plank, I think.
Fells, almost 1,000...
Literally 1,148 chapters. Finally someone's walking the plank. And it's a little girl being controlled by a holy knight. I don't think we could have pegged that for the first time someone walks the plank.
Pegged. Anyway.
That was not even a joke for a peg leg there.
So, the kids are mostly, they're kind of asleep. They're in their trance-like state.
They're all awake, which is the more horrifying thing here. They're not even asleep. They're not sleepwalking anymore. They are just straight up being forced to walk by Gunko's power, which is still unexplained.
You know, in One Piece, we usually have a scene where we get right up in someone's face, and they give this super detailed breakdown of how their power works.
Or at least some, like, inner thought monologue or something. Like, this fool doesn't know that my powers are da-da-da-da-da.
And then we get to see, like, the characters experiment with it for a little bit. But for once, actually, we're getting kind of cucked.
But I'm liking being left in the dark of the Holy Knight's powers, because they've been built up as this mysterious elite force of the world government. So I'm cool with not getting all of the details of how their powers work. Well, granted, like, Somers was fairly easy to figure out. Oh, yeah. Thorn fruit. Okay, that was pretty easy.
But I think it's really funny because remembering Cypher Pole, and those guys could not shut the fuck up. That was my first thought, is like, that guy just would not stop talking. But God's Knights are actually, they have some operational security, and that makes me scared because that makes them sound competent.
But Gunko gives this arrow plank bridge person to walk on, and it's this girl with like a ponytail that's like a little bit of a scorpion tail named Ronya. The kids cry out for her, and she's like, wow, my legs made me swerve. She seems such a happy-go-lucky girl despite the circumstances.
She better walk to her death. That's a sheer cliff. Like, that's open sky we see below her.
Like, so a reminder that when Hajrudin and the new giant pirates fell down to stop Zoro and Luffy unlocking Loki, they said falling from level 2 of Elbaf to the underworld of Elbaf would be death for them. And those are fully grown giants.
There's some big boys.
So, yeah, the size of Elbaf makes the giants look normal.
It's like if Wano was as deep as the island actually is tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she gets positioned right above the realm of the dead, and Gunko talks to Somers saying, hey, first kid is ready to fall. Somers is like, all right, I'm going to broadcast myself.
Also, can we just have a moment to appreciate Gunko, you're aura farming on children.
Yeah, Gunko.
Like, I get it, it's like the prime target for it, but damn, dude.
Put some pants on. Is it that difficult?
That'd be quite a breeze. But
I'm going to say it. I hope Somers in the anime has like a Kizaru-like voice, like a very like laid back, cocky voice, like that. Also, like that very posh, laid back, like different from Kizaru, like a posh, laid back. I think would fit Somers perfectly.
I know there's a term for the specific English accent it is, but if I guess the actual spot, some person is gonna be like, "What are you fucking stupid?
Yes,
My cousin's from Brick Bongingham. How dare you?"
And yes, we are stupid.
We're American. It's all the same.
Joke's on you. We're stupid. And so Sommers tells Ja Rule, order the teachers to set fire to the school and library. And here's the thing.
Christ.
The Holy Knights will kill the children without a second thought.
They mean business.
This is not the Foxy Pirates making a threat.
No. These guys are competent. These guys are serious.
Hell, even the Big Mom Pirates wouldn't do this.
No. I think that's like the one thing Big Mom wouldn't do.
At least, like, consciously and intentionally.
She had 70-something kids. I think she's a big fan of kids.
Yeah, and we saw in Wano with Otama, during the raid, she went to mother mode. So, yeah, there's lines that pirates don't cross, but the Holy Knights got no problem with it. Again, this is the same government that kills pregnant women and babies because it could be the child of Gold Roger. So, yeah.
It's kind of impressive to have feats of evil still being matched up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the Giants just get into arguments about giving in or not because it means submitting to the world government and everything, which, valid,
understandably losing their
valid debates because it's like
losing our history for the sake of our children,
losing our history and kids, and submitting to but also submitting to the world government who did this stuff to you. It's like, And then we go down and we see Robin and Chopper chilling out in Saul's beard. And then we also, Robin's like, I can no longer control my emotions.
Which, she says that with a stone-cold face. You gotta love her.
Also a reminder, though, I would argue Robin has the most bodies of the Straw Hats in terms of kills. Her time in Baroque Works, I think, has her above the rest.
Over Zorro?
Zorro's her good competition.
But
the thing is, how long was he a bounty hunter versus how long... I mean, you have to think, Robin was on the run for a long time.
I counter with Whiskey Peak.
True, we don't know how many people he murked there. That is a good one.
But, with the singular contention being Zorro, Robin may very well have the highest...
kill count.
I almost walked right into that one.
Yeah, you almost said body count.
Now I'm going to have to walk the plank.
Which, well, I don't think you're wrong in that regard either, but...
I mean, look at her.
She's 30.
If she wants someone.
She's also 30, so pre-time skip she was 28. So, and again, on the run for a long time, you do a lot to survive.
Yeah.
And we know she was with Crocodile for a good bit, because in the manga, when Kuma becomes a warlord, we see that Crocodile reacts to the news with Robin. So, bare minimal, the length of Kuma's time as a warlord was the time Robin was with Crocodile. So, and apologies for that one. But
sorry, my boy was upset. Which actually reminds me of another important question. Sorry, already sidetracking.
No.
Does Crocodile know that Robin can read poneglyphs?
He does, because remember, he stabbed her back in Alabasta after she read that one blue poneglyph. Cobra showed them. He was like, I know you can read them, and I also know what you're saying is on that poneglyph is bullshit. I don't know what it's saying, but I do know what you're saying it's saying is bullshit. So Crocodile knows she can read the poneglyphs, which is why he kept her around for so long, because he wanted to use her ability to find the ancient weapons, in particular Pluton.
Which add Baculum Crocomon points. But returning to what's at hand. Our gang is tied the fuck up.
Nami outright yelling at Gunko, even the worst criminals in the world don't take children hostage. Which again, the Big Mom pirates wouldn't do it.
Kaido didn't directly.
No, Kaido. I mean, the closest was capturing Momonosuke, but that was not...
That's not children, that is a political prisoner.
Yeah, Momonosuke was a political prisoner, and again, like, he was probably just going to kill him in one swift blow, not, like, draw it out or anything, you know?
And yeah, he was starving the people, which...
And also, he wanted to crush any rebellion against him, and having that figurehead of Momonosuke, you get rid of that, you get rid of the rebellion.
Yeah.
I mean, they outright said that during the raid, we need to kill Momonosuke so we can crush the samurai spirits.
But this direct form of, like, we are actually just going to roll up and kill these children.
We're going to use these children as hostages.
Oh.
The world government has been the only people to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Caesar's a second place in this one, because you got to remember
he was experimenting on children. That's
experimenting
true.
on children, holding them prisoner, kidnapping them. So Caesar is a second place, but also I will say he was affiliated with the world government once before.
So partial credit.
Yeah, inspiration points. So yeah.
But we have our lads are tied up, and they are understandably losing their marbles. And
Ripley and Frank runs off, and leaving Frankie in the dust, because, good lord, again, it's easy to say, oh, the giants are giant.
Yeah, those strides are nuts.
And Dory and Brogy they split into two groups. They got to fight the nightmares and save the children.
And the giants are understandably riled up.
Yep.
Start arming up.
To arms, and heading to SR8, which is one of the tree, like, they kind of like, it's a little bit like Saba Odi, where you had like Grove 32 and Grove 13 and stuff like that. They definitely did it like that. And also, like, no book should come out of it. They learned their lesson from O'Hara.
They got to get them all. The simple and good reason.
You want to destroy these are your culture and your history.
100
and
flowers.
Robin is just like, okay,
fuck.
Robin uses a little bit of Fishman karate and just palm strikes Sommers.
She fucking whacks him. Holy crap.
Drawing some blood, Craspedia, and the tied up Straw Hats cry out, Robin, shocked to see her. And Jinbei's like, hey, we gotta watch these people out.
Also, once again, looking at her face, I can't control my emotions.
Again,
she is
robotic.
I wouldn't say robotic. It's that she has
locked into. I would say this is Miss All Sunday we are seeing.
This is Miss All Sunday. Like, I'm here to hurt.
A reminder that back in Alabasta, she held Tashigi's own sword to Tashigi's throat.
That's true.
Yeah. And Sommer's like, I recognize you. You're Nico Rob. But then she does
the
clutch to break his back, a la Spondum and Black Maria.
Dude, she is 2-0 on this Mamma Jamma.
But then Sommers gets up, and a bit like Sanji when his exoskeleton genes like waken Wano, just kind of like he's fixing himself.
He's got to unbreak his back. I bet that would feel incredible.
And he is like, he goes back to addressing Elbaf like it's nothing. So you got 20 seconds until the first hostage falls.
Which I'll take him having to actually, I would call this regenerate or whatever.
Fixing himself.
He'd actually have to fix himself from hurt, like Robin just jumping his ass.
And once again, if only Robin knew hockey.
Well, even as much as I want that to be true, I'm not sure that would help right now.
It wouldn't help, but it's just a reminder that it would boost her attack power by tenfold.
A lot. But just a lot.
Like, and Robin tackles Sommers off the vine or whatever they're on.
Yeah, he's crazy too.
Sommers is, what are you up to? You wouldn't happen to be in love with me.
Shut up. You're not Scopper. That doesn't work.
No. Although he does, remember, he has this whole motif about love. So it does kind of fit his shtick.
Seriously, You took the big leap? Shut up.
Do you want to commit suicide? Your feelings touch me, but I have no desire to join you in the afterlife.
I forget Robin can make wings out of hands and glide for a
But
minute.
also, I'm very interested by this. Somber saying I have no desire to join you in the afterlife. It does make me wonder if there's a limit to, at bare minimal, the Holy Knight's regeneration.
Well, if he's bringing this up, I would imagine this might be death even for him.
Like, it could be like the classic argument of there has to be something there to regenerate.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I'm gonna say, like, it seems like in Deadpool, the second movie, when he gets ripped in half. Okay, he has his torso still to regrow from the waist down. To me, I think that's kind of maybe what the Holy Knight's regeneration is like. There's got to be something there to regenerate.
Perhaps there's an upper limit.
But I would imagine falling from that great height, you go splat, and there's just
you're just
nothing.
You're just a red stain.
Yeah. So, or maybe like you get splatted and it disconnects the emu connection or something, and the straw hats were tied up like what is she doing?
Oh no, we get a line here I'm trying to read. So, of course, we get some comments about her seemingly jumping to her death, which... Actually, Jinbei hasn't seen her do the wing thing, so I guess that makes sense.
No, Jinbei doesn't know that. And Robin's like, I know perfectly well that you are immortal and that you are...
Homerones?
A Homerones. Maybe a translation, Holy Knight. If your damn invisible thorns... Oh, my bad, that would be a flower thing, too. If your damn invisible thorns disappear, we can save the children. Right, because even if you... But remember, if devil fruit users lose consciousness and they're like a paramecia, anything that, like, any status effect of their devil fruit goes away when they lose consciousness. A la Vanderdecken with Noah's Ark in Fishman Island and Sugar.
Corazon.
And Sugar and Dressrosa. Corazon.
That didn't work on Big Mom. She's dead.
I think, but the thing is, like, those were things that, like, you have to remember, those were like, other souls that were put into objects, and so, like, there was nothing done, like, and so, like, they became their own beings, rather than an effect of the devil fruit. It's a very weird...
So we'll say generally.
Yeah.
Pretty generally, this seems to be true.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, for the non-broken devil fruits, because while Sommer's fruit is definitely devious, it's not the most broken in the verse.
No, not by a long shot.
So Big Mom's devil fruit, yeah.
So you thought by throwing me into the void, it would put the kids out of the reach of my power. Not stupid, the miss.
And uses the thorns to impale Robin.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, wait, nope. It's one of her flower clones that she learned in Wano.
God, I forget how... Shadow clone jutsu in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yep. And Sommers gives it... She really had everything planned, and you see the anger mark in the text box.
You know what? Shout out, I fucking believe she would do it. It was like, she could fly out of that. No, actually, why would she even bother at all?
Yep.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Hey.
That's quite enough, Mr. Man.
Yes, our co-host is voicing his opinions here.
Surprise appearance from my boy Ozzy.
And Robin goes to the captured Straw Hats, giving her Nami saying, "What class, Robin? I've got goosebumps." But even with a knife, Robin can't cut the arrow that they're tied up with.
Which, what the fuck?
So that is something interesting to note, that the Gunko's fruit, and then we cut apparently as Sommer speaking, and we see him... Okay, this is some plot armor here, using his thorn fruit just to shoot a vine of thorns.
Spider-Man style.
Yeah.
Which...
And he tells Gunko to let the people hear the kid's voice.
Let me speak to the people, Piccolo.
And Ronya, Lord Jarul, I love school. I have a lot of friends there, and we see the father of Ronya. And I love the library, too. The giant's like, we'll get you out of there, because books teach us a lot about the world, and my teachers taught me that you shouldn't bother people. and that you shouldn't do things to them that they don't like.
Very
if the
based.
school and library have to disappear for me to be saved, I think it will annoy everyone. That's why it's better for me to fall. Lord Ja Rule, don't worry about me. I've always been lucky. It's going to be okay.
Coming from the... I would say she's an 8-year-old, but that's not accurate, but she's still a child.
Yeah. And so, like, 2, 1, and Ja Rule calls out, set the school on fire.
Tears in his eyes. Aw, man.
But then we see the teachers, and they are crying, and Somers is back up and has captured Robin with thorns.
Oh, fuck him.
Robin gets a lot of piercing wounds. I mean, Dressrosa, she had Diamante's, like, I almost want to say, like, thumbtack, or Hail Jack Storm thing that she had to protect Rebecca from. So she gets pierced a lot.
Well, so we always say, why can't Robin just have a W?
Legitimately, it does seem that it does seem weird to say that while arguably the most important crew member for Luffy, she has not had a moment like a massive W post time skip.
Aside from her fight with Black Maria, but like
that's
out of 600-700 episodes,
out of Fishman Island, which was just
she took out some mooks.
Yeah, which nothing
it was cool,
special there. But not a massive W. Then Punk Hazard, nothing there.
Dressrosa,
nothing really. Protecting Rebecca mainly, and like she had a little bit of an endurance feat, but again, not a massive win. And on Zoe, we didn't know nothing there. Then of course she went straight to Wano, so skipping Whole Cake. And then
we see she pulls off some really cool stuff in Wano, and she does have her W with Black Maria, but like, why are we scrounging for W's for Robin?
It seems weird. Like, and then on Egghead, she was literally on bed rest for most of it.
Look, I'm gonna say it. Let's just keep it straight up. Without counting Conqueror's Hockey, Robin is the #1 ad deleter. Like, if you're not some uber tough guy, and she just literally folds you where you stand, that's it. It's Jover. Just break your spine on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, she can't keep up with Luffy dropping some crazy Conqueror's Hockey, but, like, she doesn't need Conqueror's Hockey to knock down, like, a couple thousand people.
Yeah, she can just break their necks and backs.
There is no upper limit on the arms she can use. It doesn't seem to actually put any strain on her. It's the actual strength of her arms themselves, which...
Yeah, so, like, I would say, like, she can't do it to a Kaido or a Big Mom.
Well, that was the thing.
She could do it to, like, a Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because, like, he's relatively normal size.
Send in 1,000 Marines, she'll literally fold their clothes while they're still wearing them. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu joke.
Yeah. So, but Somers with his big thorn, like, club bat thing, too. And he's, and we've taken you hostage. And then we see a speedy leap, and someone chops off Somers' arm.
Good.
And it's not growing back.
Let's go.
And then Scopper Gabon goes it's been a while, so you know what I'm trying to say. It's Shashi Burunana Mugiata, like crocodile, but
I prefer to imagine Scopper Gabon shouted his own name as he did this, Leroy Jenkins style.
And then Somers freaks out.
He looks like he's actually losing it.
Gabon, and then we get slashed across the chest, and Scopper not playing around.
No,
he like
easier to hurt.
And so that's how the chapter ends, with a right-handless chest slashed Somers, unable to regenerate. So Somers has something to counter the regen of the Holy Knights,
or at least stop it.
I mean, it was kind of theorized once this whole regen was introduced that, like, pre and post time skip often mirror each other very often, and Rayleigh was introduced, and he could counter the Logias.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can he do this? How can he take the collar off? How can he knock people out? How can he counter the Logias? So Rayleigh introduces just hockey.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense
it's like
then.
the first big power jump that is accessible.
Mm-hmm. And then, so it makes sense then that the other wing of the Pirate King has something to counter this new power BS of the regeneration. The Logias were power BS in the past, and now I
just paused it.
Logias are, and now the regen is the new BS. So it's interesting to see again the parallels that happen pre and post time skip, and it's just Oda just
he loves his parallels.
He loves his parallels, loves the callbacks and everything. And
we are due for one more big power jump. Not that we didn't have some crazy stuff go down in Wano. It's that we
didn't introduce anything crazy. The craziest thing Wano introduced was advanced armament hockey, like Ryu advanced armament.
Yeah,
and I will say the Lunarian aspect.
That's more, I guess, racial abilities.
Yeah.
Which it was like the first set of racial abilities we saw since.
God, not Fishman, but
technically the three-eyed people. And Whole Cake.
Pudding. Fishman Island and the Skypeans?
Yeah.
But I don't even think the Skypeans really had anything special.
Actually, now that I think about it, we have gotten, since post-time, we've got a lot of racial abilities in that, like, the Oni, the Giants, the Lunarians, the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
The long arms and the long legs. But, returning to like a proper like powers that are actually in universe.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, because pre-time skip, you guys had a lot of the same people, same power, but everyone was human.
Yeah, like the difference between Luffy and any given opponent.
Most of his opponents was.
Well, we have like I like to call it like the United Magic System here, and that. Technically, One Piece does have two magic systems, and that, like, you have one proper magic system with the Devil Fruits, and then we'll call it, like, a half point for hockey, and that, like, hockey isn't really magic, and that anyone can go learn it, you just have to actually go learn it, and it's not, like, crazy uncommon or anything, you just gotta, like...
Yeah, apparently everyone has the potential for bare minimal armament and observation hockey, it's just that not a lot of people, in terms of, like, percentage of world population of One Piece do unlock it.
Yeah, like as I remember when I was first having One Piece explain to me how hockey worked, is that like it is a lot like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that like you can just go learn it. It's not like it's verboten. It's just how many people have the kind of time, energy, effort, and usage to go learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, yeah. You know what? Fair enough. Even people in the Marines don't necessarily need it. It's not worth it. But
we move on to chapter 1149, and we get a nice little cover art piece of Zoro, Luffy, Sanji, Robin, Bonnie, Lilith, and Usopp in like a cafe. Nami, Robin, Lilith, and Jewelry Bonnie in different levels of maid outfits. Bonnie being much more the 12-year-old, but not in a skimpy maid outfit.
Yeah.
People freaked out when they just saw it in maid outfit and like, she's 12, Oda, what the fuck? Like, no. But I don't like one aspect of this drawing. Bonnie holding like a tray or something with R.I.P. written on it. But I also know that when the picture was dropped, I do know that the internet went a little crazy for Lilith.
I mean, keep it a buck. Our boy Usopp didn't stand a chance.
I think Usopp's reacting to the bill he got.
Okay, that's also a real possibility.
Also, can I just say Robin looks like Baby 5 in this?
She really does, actually.
Also, shout out Baby 5, who's technically a member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet.
Yeah, she is. I forgot about that.
Because she is Sai's wife now. I think, yeah.
Yeah, they're married.
And so she would be a member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So, hey, shout out to Baby 5 being a Straw Hat Grand Fleet member, technically. That's interesting. But
we got a whole lot of
1149, titled A Second, everyone reacting to Gabon laying out Sommers.
Oh, we get some Conquerors hockey lighting.
Yes, Gabon has the Conquerors hockey lighting coming off his axe.
Finally.
Which...
we appreciate the clarity.
Let's face it, like, I definitely think... Now, Grant, I'm curious to see what type of Conqueror this is, because I think there's two different types of Conqueror hockey. There is the Kingly Ambition hockey, which I'll say is like your Luffy, your Kaido, your Big Mom Conquerors. But then, in my opinion, you have the Garp and Katakuri.
The Protector.
Conquerors, or it's not just the Protectors, but like when you are putting a mission or something above yourself. Like, and you are determined to do something, like protect your family, protect others.
I would argue that Scopper has the first of the two, because look at his wife.
Probably the Kingly Ambition, yeah, but then I also wonder what type Rayleigh has, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I think part of the...
Also, Roger had himself and three other Conquer hockey users on his ship.
That's a stacked crew. Like, crazy that.
And that is stupid.
Do we know like any other crew aside from maybe Rocks Pirates that had
that many Conquerors?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Straw Hats have 2 currently with Luffy and Zoro.
2 confirmed.
If you want to go potential with Scopper having it, Sanji maybe having it, then 3. The Big Mom Pirates had obviously Big Mom herself and Katakuri, so that's 2. Whitebeard Pirates only had Whitebeard and Ace and Odin, but not all at the same time.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 1, 2 for them. The Beast Pirates only had Kaido.
King didn't have Conquerors
No,
hockey.
if you want to technically throw Yamato in, but not, you know, that's
Yamato's not a part of the Beast Pirates.
No, but a bare minimal affiliation there. There's maybe 2 there. Cross Guild technically doesn't have any confirmed ones. Neither does the Blackbeard Pirates. As for the Red-Haired Pirates, only 1 in Shanks. So yeah, Conquerors again, like, but also again, like, novel concept. Conquerors, like, there's only been about
I think it's 12?
20 confirmed Conqueror hockey users in the story of One Piece,
with over 1,000 named characters.
Yeah, so
that is 0.2% of characters. That's actually, I think that makes Gingers more common in real life.
Legitimately, so yeah, like, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. You have 24 canon confirmed Conquerors hockeys. Of those, it's Shanks, Luffy, Rayleigh, Boa, which I forgot about her, Doflamingo, Don Chinjao, the most forgotten Conqueror-heavy motherfucker in this whole verse.
True. I think, is he the weakest Conquerors hockey user?
In terms of weakest person with Conquerors, yes, because I think every other Conqueror hockey user beats Chinjao. At least I'll say Dressrosa Chinjao. Prime Don Chinjao seemed like a menace. You know, Garp had to come in and deal with him.
He broke his fucking skull.
Yeah. So, I'll say the Chinjao we saw in Dressrosa is definitely the weakest Conqueror. But yeah, technically speaking, the world government has the most Conqueror hockey users. Yeah. Because you got Sengoku, you got Garp, you got, I'll just say it, all 5 Gorosei, you got Emu. So yeah.
Fair. But, like, yeah, so the amount of crews that are active right now that have access to someone with Conquerors hockey, a total amount of crews that have 2 and then 3 Conquerors Hockey, only one crew has had 3 members with Conquerors Hockey at the same time, that being the King of the Pirates.
King of the Pirates crew. Which...
Yeah, you know what? That kind of makes sense. The King of the Pirates should have the most stacked crew on top of being the GOAT.
Yeah. Which also makes me interested to see the rest of the crew. But we see Gabon chop... Going back to the manga, Gabon chops Sommers down. Sommers cries out in pain. Usopp freaking out. Why'd he do it? And Gabon, like all of the old-time legends in One Piece. I'm rusty. Saying this is not my peak. I mean, Garp said it on Hachinosu. Like, Rayleigh said it on Sabaody. All the OG legends always say, like, damn, this shit's...
I'm getting old.
This would be Scopper's, like, true, like, first fight in a long time. Like, I'm sure he's done some hunting on Elbaf and stuff like that.
But like, as we know, Conquerors Hockey's only developed through fights and...
Not even... No. Conquerors Hockey is just something a person is born with.
Yeah, my bad. Hockey is only developed through difficult fights, as we get quoted by Kaido. Still think
the
about
hockey
Conquerors
gets fine-tuned in fighting. But in terms of... Everyone, in theory, like, even Nami can have observation and armament hockey. I'm not meaning to rag on Nami, but just putting perspective. I mean, you have to remember, random Marine NPC boss in Dressrosa had armament.
Yeah.
Kobe in Marineford had observation hockey. So, everyone can use those two types of hockey, but Conquerors is something that very few select people, it seems to be almost genetic, that you are born with.
Fair.
But also, it could just also be those that get the spirit possessed into them or something. But again, Conquerors Hockey, very, very rare. Like, what did I say, 24 people or something like that? Yeah, 24 people. In the entirety of One Piece, 24 people. So,
take a look here.
And
what are you doing in Elbaf? Like, everyone's always surprised.
Sommers does block it using a little bit of hockey-infused thorns. And interestingly enough, the only Conquerors Hockey Lightning is coming from Gabon, not Sommers. So, Sommers does not have Conquerors, unlike probably dear old Uncle Jew Peter of the Gorse.
Yeah.
So, that is interesting.
Well, he calls him the Looter.
Which I think it might be maybe a translation thing. Maybe, because I've seen, like, different ones. But, like, we do know that... what are you doing in Elbaf? But Scar was like, fuck you, I don't have time to talk, and just slashes him again. And Nami, who was there in the castle, Luffy and Zoro couldn't do anything against him, which, to be fair, they really couldn't.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, there was more Luffy doing fighting against Scopper, then he went Gear 5, and Zoro pulled out his swords, and then that's when he gave up.
Just threw in the towel.
I wouldn't say he couldn't do anything. And he's Cologne's father, one of the kids from the school. And then Robin says, if I'm not mistaken, that's Scopper Gabon on the same level as Rayleigh, which I'm going to say, you can be on the same level as a person, but that person still be stronger than a person. Like, person A and person B can be on the same level, but person A can be better.
I think probably a better way to say it is like in the same weight class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a perfect analogy. They're in the same weight class. And then, like, Brooke, who is a mummy, that is going to be so fun to see. I'll say this. Post Elbaf incident, if Brooke doesn't make some mummy jokes, I'll be disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
And what's a guy like him doing on the Island of Giants? Well, I mean, you guys encountered Rayleigh just chilling in Sabaody, retired, coding ships.
Not that weird.
And Chopper takes interest.
He noticed.
I will say this. I don't think I can truly remember the last time Chopper has ever been invested in a fight he was watching / also watching someone get hurt. Like, and from a non-doctor perspective, how can I treat it? Like, how did he hurt that person? That is not a Tony thought.
Yeah.
That we have really seen before. But I think with Egghead and dealing with the Gorosei, the Straw Hats, Chopper's 16,
Yeah.
they are realizing that they are going up against literal demons here.
Yeah. After Wano, they can only fight world-class enemies now.
Yeah.
There are no mooks.
Your road to Laugh-Tale now runs through Blackbeard, Mihawk, Shanks, and the world government.
It's like there's no space for scrubs there.
No.
With the special exception of Buggy D. Clown, but...
The Buggy D. Clown Gear 5 fight is going to be peak cinema.
Actually, now that I think about that, what is Luffy gonna do to him?
Probably kick him in the nuts again.
Actually, yeah.
Just this time, it's just like a kick to the nuts, but just sends Buggy straight up into space.
Shoots his eyeballs out of his head.
Yeah.
But
although, I will say, I saw a interesting comic on Twitter the other day of Straw Hats and Cross Guild clashing. Luffy and Buggy fighting, Zoro Mihawk fighting.
Yeah.
And Sanji and Crocodile are off to the side smoking, and then Sanji talks to Crocodile, and Crocodile just leans down over Sanji because he recognizes Sanji's voice as Mr. Prince, and the face
my God.
on Crocodile is
you unraveled my organization.
Yeah, it's you motherfucker. This goes from business to personal real fast, motherfucker. And
real shit.
It does seem weird to say that those would be the fights in Cross Guild.
Yeah. Yeah. But Cross Guild doesn't have all that many big stage names aside from those three.
Yeah.
And to be fair, those are some big stage names.
Your fourth strongest in Cross Guild, I would say, is Daz Bones. Which, honestly, that'd be an interesting fight for Jinbei. Because Fishman Karate versus the steel body of Daz Bones would be very interesting, I think.
Hypothetically, if Daz Bones has hockey...
Actually, yes, but also, I just thought of something. What is Robin's... We talked about this earlier. What is Robin's main attack?
Her
grabbing onto people.
Yeah.
What fruit does Alvida have?
Oh, the
slip fruit, which means any attacks would slide off her. Meaning, in theory, Alvida's almost imperfect counter for Robin.
That is true. What would she do? Well, how would they hurt each other?
That is a very... Alvida's does got her mace, her iron club.
I don't know if she's strong enough, though. Robin's pretty fucking tough.
Yeah. I think Alvida only has a 5 million berry bounty that we last remember. Didn't
Robin have 8 by the time she was 11?
Robin...
No, it was 30.
Robin had she had a 79 million berry bounty when she was 8 after O'Hara.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can only imagine the dumb fight between Alvida and Robin. Alvida just sliding around, trying to hit Robin dodging and trying to grab Alvida, but she can't. Oh, that's so stupid in my head, and I love it.
Behold, the worst fight you've ever seen.
They're both black hair too. Oda has foretold it. Yeah. But yeah, you. And then you have the lion and the lion tamer and the unicycle rider that Zoro fought back in Orange Town, and those are the top officers of Cross Guild. And Galdino. Let's not forget Mr. 3.
I was just to say, Mr. Number 3, whose wax is as hard as steel.
He would be. He's interesting. He does got dubs over Dorian Broggie technically. So.
That's true.
But, yeah. It's going to be very weird to see Oda, inevitably when Cross Guild's fighting, and Oda has to... I can only imagine, some random vice admiral getting fucking waxified as a hype tool for Mr. 3, and it's you're shitting me. This horrible hairdo having motherfucker just clapped a vice admiral.
Let's just take a moment to remember his resume for a minute, right? He spent I would say he's been on fraud watch, but that's not true.
He's on no watch.
He almost completely effed up the Straw Hats, like almost actually took them out.
Yeah. But
then he came back, and he was with Luffy for almost all of Impel Down.
From Impel Down to Marineford, yeah, helping save Ace.
And then he was there for Marineford too.
Yeah, he made the wax key in 3 days, yeah.
So he's actually got a decent resume.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're officially taking him off fraud watch. He's not strong, but you know what?
Not a fraud.
Not a fraud.
Well, he is less of a fraud than Saturn, which is something.
He might be less of a fraud than Dragon.
That's sacrilege there.
That is, I mean, what's our data?
But going back to the chapter, because again, they're one of our famous diversions there. Robin, I can't move, but should be able to help with powers. But Jinbei's like, forget it. He's a Thorn Man, a literal hard counter for Robin.
Yeah.
Like that's. I think we first said that when Somers pulled up in his power. Was like, that is such a hard counter for Robin.
Yeah, because she can't grab him.
Yeah. Imperial Thorns and Scarlet Hell! Somers cries out in desperation. And watch where you're walking. And then Scopper's just like, nah, and just chops him off right above the nipples.
Like, homeboy didn't stand a chance.
And slices through his weapon, too.
Oh, that goes so hard. We also get a named attack.
Yeah, Futonaruku, which I've seen other translations, but it's like, I forget what, but... and Scopper's like, I don't have time for... And Scopper just slices through, and... But it is interesting that, like, it seems that Somers is alive, just chopped in half a bit.
Just chopped in half a bit? He's like a Logia user.
He stops the regeneration, so now Somers is just kind of like upper pectoral and up. And everyone freaks out about it. And Chopper goes running after him.
Chopper's been really active this
chapter, yeah. And like he's going through the thorns that are still up. But he's like, how did he manage to slice an immortal guy? There must be a trick. Chopper, invested in this, is again.
To be fair, actually, think about it. His dream is right there. If he wants to be able to cure death, he's found an immortal man. Well, what's stopping the immortality?
Yeah, but I will say does it almost seem out of character for Chopper in a way?
Well, we just haven't seen him have this much good screen time, and
yeah, I guess it does seem weird that like for the most part he's just been relegated to offhanded comments.
Yeah,
we haven't really dived into the Chopper pool in a long while.
Yeah,
and the rest of the kids are asleep, and the school is burning. The teacher's crying, and St. Q, Quillingham, burns the library too. Robin sees it and begins crying because that's O'Hara 2.0 for her.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I will say that like it's a big building. Those logs are pretty thick, so it probably would take a while to get to the books. And there is that owl that can change the size of things. So like that's how like the books from O'Hara have become big, and other stuff that they get from the outside world they bring in. There's that owl with the devil fruit that makes things bigger. So that a little bit of a Chekhov gun there of probably helping out to save the books there maybe a little bit. But the Giants are consoling Jarul, saying it's not his fault, which he made the call, but they're like, look, we're not blaming you. Yeah. The blame is not on your plate. And the heritage of previous generations and their history. I'm going to say this, though. Why do you have it all in one place? I mean, all the eggs in one basket. I get you're the warrior nation. No one really fucks with you. But if it's your shit, that's your ancestors, like your legacy and stuff.
I would counter.
Why do you put it in one spot?
I would counter the Library of Alexandria in real life.
And what happened there?
Yeah.
It burned and everything was lost. So which is why you shouldn't do it.
Always make copies. Get yourself an attorney. Get you some extra copies.
And this is saying killing him. The fire is complete, and Gunko says you can come back. And Gunko's like, you could be at least a little happy. And the girl, Ronya, is like 2.5 Gunkos tall.
Yeah. I was like, where's oh God. She's up to like maybe her hip.
And she said, and Ronya says, sorry for still being alive. God. She's
gonna be racked with
of a
guilt.
9-year-old crying for that. But the culture, the history, the children, their armed forces, and Gabon running up on Gunko. You don't have the right to take their stuff. And Gunko's like a member of the King of the Pirates crew. By resisting, you're condemning the hostages to death, you know? Like, as if a member of the Pirate King's crew would sit back.
Yeah.
These are the same motherfuckers that pulled up on God Valley.
Well, like, you couldn't... So, as we have seen from the members of the Pirate King's crew, they can't stop themselves. They just be doing things.
No. If you are on a crew who is destined to be king of the pirates, you're going to be impulsive as fuck.
Well, that's
for the most part.
That is the thing we actually see a lot in the Straw Hat crew, is that the reason that crew works together is because they're like impulsive children. They just share this similar set of impulses. It's like it's all direct in the same direction, and that is the singular reason it works. If you tried to organize them or coordinate them, it would fall apart.
Yeah.
It would fall apart.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that while they were about to start the raid of Onigashima and the Akazaya 9 are on Law's ship, Law outright tells them, look, we know that Luffy and Kid are going to be dumbasses and be distractions barging in through the front door.
Yeah.
Like, Law knows not to try to plan with Luffy at this point.
Yeah.
He knew to plan
around
and for Luffy.
Well, he's good enough to get Kaido killed for it, so
yeah,
he's pretty smart.
But again, that's like you're gonna have impulsiveness, and the kids are like, "Oh, it's
Mr. Ya."
Mr. Ya. We know
Ya.
Mr. Ya-san is like the Minister of Love. That's what they know him as. They do not know him as Scopper Gabon, left hand of the Pirate King. They know him as the Minister of Love, the Mountain Eater. And Cologne, in Scopper in his head says, "Don't call me Cologne." And naturally, what does the dumbass do? Hollers up, "That's my dad, guys. My dad is stronger than anyone." And Gunko is like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, he has murder in his eyes, dude.
Oh, yeah, because he realizes what's going to happen. He knows Gunko is going to go after his kid.
Yeah.
And he tries to slash her, but Gunko dodges the attack and goes straight to Cologne. But that's impressive for Gunko to dodge an angry Gabon attack.
Yeah.
And with almost like a fencing sword right to Cologne's throat. Also, Cologne's head being bigger than Gunko.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
God bless Oda, scaling.
Yeah. And Gunko, like, looking at Gabon, like, and Gabon's in his head, it's now or never. If I act now, I should be able to stop the fire at the library, save the children, and by extension, Elblaf. I have to kill her in one blow. Cologne, give me a second, be patient. I know you're brave. Hang in there, I will save you. Cologne, I'm a dad. I'm okay, Dad. I'm a warrior. Beat him up. A lost life cannot be recovered. And we get a little bit of a flashback of when Ripley gave birth to Cologne. Cologne already being bigger than Scopper when he gave birth. And what's interesting is that Scopper does have one of the notable scars on the side of his face around his eye.
Yeah.
At the birth point, but I don't think he had that when they arrived at Laugh Tale.
No, so I don't remember that scar.
No. Now, Grant, I will say this. Some people can I will say in the One Piece community, like, oh, well, the scars didn't exist at X time. Well,
Oda may have forgotten.
Oda may not have planned for things. Like, oh, well, when Oda in chapter 529, the scar wasn't there, but now in this flashback in chapter 1082, the scar is there in this time frame, so that means the scar must have happened, blah, 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 blah. No, let's keep it a buck. Oda either forgot things or hadn't planned everything out.
Like his memory's incredible, but it's not perfect.
Minor details, I will say, like scars. It seems weird to say scars are minor, but that's definitely one of the things that, like...
It's not plot relevant.
Yeah.
So like...
Yeah, barring, like, notable scars like Luffy's chest scar,
yeah,
Zoro's chest/scar from Mihawk and stuff like that. They're not like, but like random scars like that aren't as important or relevant yet.
It's not important until it's important. If there's some importance to it, then yeah, okay, we can bitch about it.
How big and cute he is. Thank you for bringing him into the child Ripley. He is my most precious treasure.
Aww.
The man who saw the One Piece, calling his son the most precious treasure. But back to reality, Ripley calling out for her son to hold on. Gunko piercing the neck a little bit to draw blood. Showing that, hey, it's gonna...
Gunko out here sprinting for worst villain.
Gabon, I have to put an end to this mess. It's going to escalate, but then we get a future sight of the sword going through Cologne's neck. That future sight must suck sometimes. And Gabon just stops, breaks, and calls out to stop and drops his axes, giving up. And he apologizes to Elbath. And Gunko just...
shoots him for it.
Shoots him with arrows. Gabon saying, "Sorry, Cologne, you must have suffered. Forgive me." And he falls off. He falls off the ledge, and Chopper, and everyone cries out for him. And Chopper diving off with after Scopper, because he really wants to know how the fuck to how to stop the regen.
You have plot essential information.
But what's interesting is that the cries for Dad are triggering Gunko a bit here. Father, and what is this memory? And we get unexpected lore here. And we see a little figure, presumably Gunko as a little girl.
And that is 100% Brooks.
We see a man with an afro with a sword going, yo-ho-ho. That is
One Piece laughs are... It's better than blood types.
That is a signature.
That is more indicative of who it is than a blood type.
You know my dream is to become a pirate. I don't know if that's Brooks saying it or Gunko. That's interesting, though.
Oh, important to note, we get a music note, which...
Yeah, it's Brooke.
Yeah.
So Brooke had mentioned, is it that girl? Like, he seemed to know Gunko.
But how does he know Gunko?
But he wasn't sure, but he thought there was a person. And Brooke saying she really looks like her. And Gunko, Brooke, and then rushes towards the Straw Hats. Is that you, Brooke? That is, like, so she knows Brooke.
Yeah.
Where in the fuck is this coming from?
What is this connection?
I've seen some people speculate. I don't think it's going to be Brooke's daughter, but like it could be like his captain's daughter,
his niece or something,
or like in a way like the non-blood related niece. I could see that, because let's face it, a lot of pirates see it. But then Gunko stops,
Ruh-roh,
and like she gets like this possessed look, and then we see Sommers laying there talking, so he's alive despite being literally just barely a torso and a head. With asking, why are you loitering? And St. Q, Lord Emu, and shook. The Holy Land is in flames, and the children are looking at Gunko like, what's wrong with him? His face has become terrifying. We need reinforcements, Emu is saying to the 3 Holy Knights. And then the chapter ends with Emu possessing Gunko.
Uh-oh. Motherfucker got the double Renegon.
With saying, Mew will show you what it's like to be dominated by God.
I like that.
So this is the second time that Emu has done something equivalency of, I would say, Wi-Fi hockey.
Actually, I think this pretty solidly beats out Wi-Fi
no,
hockey.
but like it's akin to like a distance or something because Emu took away Saturn's life while he was chilling on a boat and Emu was in the Holy Land. So Emu definitely has some of the great remote feats of One Piece.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrifying panel. Like the eyes look like me. And here's the thing: I've seen people say like these eyes, like they look like Mihawk's eyes.
They kind of do.
No, they are. Like they're the same spirals and everything, same circles. So I'm like people have been really speculating on what's going on with Mihawk here, and wondering if there's some type of connection between Mihawk and Emu or stuff like that. And but like Emu pulls up. Emu has pulled a move. Emu has made a move before Monkey D. Dragon. How in the world is that possible? That Emu has stepped onto a battlefield before Monkey D. Dragon.
We got glimpses of Emu's power before we have an actual combat scene with Dragon.
Yeah. The closest combat we have is just him grabbing Smoker's weapon and going,
no.
Bitch, no. That's it. That's the most we've gotten of Dragon.
Like,
and so
if there isn't like 300 pages just of Dragon fighting at some point,
I feel sorry for the top tier who's getting jobbed out to Dragon.
Yeah.
Who is getting done dirty? I mean, the Seraphim are a good shout, but you know what? I can see Green Bull taking another L.
Yeah, but then he really lose. He would lose his status.
No. Like you have Green Bull just come off a massive dub. Like I'll say maybe like putting down Marco.
Do you think he could take down Marco?
I think Green Bull could beat Marco. It would be a high diff fight, but I think Green Bull. I don't think Marco has the attack power to really put Green Bull down, whereas Green Bull has the ability, I think, to put Marco down.
We'll put a pin on it. Doesn't matter. Green Bull gets a dub.
Yeah, Green Bull gets a dub over a notable person,
and then
like
Dragon has to humiliate him,
and then Dragon just swirlies him, puts him in the toilet metaphorically.
Hit him with the thug shaker.
Yeah. And so that leads us in going from talking about Dragon putting Green Bull in the toilet for a swirling, taking his lunch money, into chapter 1150, Dome Reversi, which we're getting Latin chapters. You know some shit's gonna go down.
Reverse domain.
Yeah, reverse domain.
That's got to be a JJK reference.
I just think it's keep on. There was a speculation that like will turn the world upside down, and this Marie-Joie being the Holy Land and heaven, but
and it's
one
burning.
of your holy knights guarding it has Cerberus the Hellhound, and meanwhile you call the common world the almost equivalency of the underworld, but Shanks is one of the big guardians of it and has a griffin, which is typically more of a saint-like protector. Mm-hmm. So it's like turning the world upside down. It's like reverses the domains of heaven really being hell and stuff like that.
Reverse curse technique. Plot unfolding.
Yeah. The giants arrive to their kids, but then they also see what's a good name combination here? Gimu, Gummo. Like Gomu Gomu no Mi, but let's just Gomu. But Emu Gunko,
Gomu out. So take a look at that panel right there. Sorry,
just unleashes.
Does that look like Conqueror's Hockey to you?
Yes, that is a Conqueror's Hockey nuke equivalency of Joy Boy knocking out the giants and the kids.
Oh.
And naturally, it caused. And here comes
she
the
sprouted
giant pirates,
fucking wings.
The warriors. As a pentagram, like shield-like thing, show no tolerance, for resistance. Is that truly all
Thy
MMA
is?
can accomplish?
You motherfuckers!
No, I guess that's the Holy Knights, what Emu calls the Holy Knights. And St. Q says, but High One, I've kept the nightmare holes open. Monsters keep pouring out of people's nightmares all over the island. They come from dreams where the idea of death doesn't exist, which means I can bring them back with a single word. Sommers, guide those brats. Right away.
Oh, he pieced himself back together.
He regenerates. But when you think about it, if like the idea that like if
he was struggling there.
If Gabon's off the table, though, maybe the hockey effect goes away. Is that woman up there the same as before? She looks different. Robin asks, "Where's Luffy and the others?" And as Nami and Brooks say, they're in the underworld.
Very ominous from Brooks.
And Robin desperately trying to escape. Jinbei, what are you doing? We'll all end up captured.
True.
And if you're getting captured by the world government,
of all people,
and you're not going to impel down.
Robin implicitly knows that.
Yeah.
Jinbei should be more aware of that as a fishman.
As a former warlord, too.
Yeah.
As a former sun pirate.
Like, it's not just Jover for them.
Yeah. The problem is, who do we bargain with once we have these brats as bait?
Oh, we could see him regenerating. It's like...
Yeah, it's...
kind of gross.
Yeah.
It looks kind of smoky.
I said it before, I can't wait to see what the anime really does for the big regeneration. We talked about it like when Bonnie stabbed Saturn, like the blood just disappeared
and he sucked it back in.
But like not true damage. Like I can't wait to see like the limbs regrowing, how they do that in the anime.
Oh yeah.
Like that's gonna be very interesting to see. And you're right, High One, the idea of a land without a king is crazy. And Sommer's like, damn, this hurts, Gabon, you asshole. And Gunk goes, I command thee to seize this country. Blue Oni Dory and Red Oni Brogy. Oni apparently can mean either demon or ogre, but they were known as the Red Ogre and Blue Ogre.
So the red and blue Oni is a big it is a story trope in Japan. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
TLDR. Red Oni, Blue Oni. It tracks pretty heavily onto Naruto and Sasuke and Naruto. One is innately talented. One develops talent through practice. One is favored for being innately talented. The other earns the favor of the village by
and they're
working.
Equals?
Yeah, they end up becoming equals.
So,
Blue Oni ends up sacrificing himself so the Red Oni may stay with the village.
So one could also say Zoro and Sanji. One was born innate with Sanji, and one developed his skill in Zoro. I might be stretching there a little bit, but...
I don't know well enough about the tale to put it on so sufficiently, but I don't know enough to discredit the idea either.
And
so Dory and Brogy were weak.
Gimu says, ye shall become kings of this land.
Kanye, no!
But ye is like, and
you're one of God's knights.
I forget which one is which. I
don't know either.
Brogy. Okay, the round one is Brogy. Brogy calls out, you're one of the god knights, and grabs Emu Gunko.
Gomu.
Gumu. It's like, you're the one causing all the chaos, and I think Dory says, watch out, Brogy. We're taking the kids back. How many of you are there? And Emu says, Hearken, Brogy, thou shalt now go and confront Jarul Bearded Mountain, off with his head and bear it aloft. And she summons a book. It almost looks like a witchcraft book. Then before all proclaim, we are the kings of Elbaf. Emu speaking like a goddamn evil Victorian queen. or king?
So...
We pulling some Dungeons and Dragons or something here?
Yeah, what the fuck
And
is
then
happening?
From the book spawn some smoke or something.
Oh, no.
Brogy says, shut the fuck up. But then Gunko pulls a sword out, stabs herself free, and then pulls out a double-barrel shotgun.
Pulls out the fucking blicky.
Shows out the gun and
Oh, it's huge!
And just shoots Brogy's hand off.
Oh, fuck!
He cries out in pain, and Emu says, I shall grant unto thee the power of evil.
Uh-oh.
They freak out because Brogy just lost his arm.
Shot his hand off!
In exchange for a fleeting span of life, thou shalt receive an immortal body and prodigious strength. There's a under Muse domain, thou art bound by neither logic nor reason, for the demon is the very form existence was fated to assume.
Oh, hell no. We're not pulling up Reddit.
Literally saying they are the demons. That the Holy Land is hell.
And if the pentagrams weren't enough to sell it...
Yeah. The
reading?
kanji means demonic contract.
But Oda gives the reading. Oh, I do not know what that word is.
Reading a
Quarrel?
a quarrel, which may be a nod to energy wheeling from Black Destroyer, I guess. Demonic contract, a quarrel. She said, demon, what's she trying to do?
Uh-oh.
And Brogy just sinking into a giant pentagram that surrounded
He's getting reverse
him.
raptured.
Dark inversion domain, Dalme Reversi.
Uh-oh.
And
what the fuck is happening?
And Brogy gets sucked into the portal, and he gets spat out, and he's a demon.
Uh-oh.
He's a straight-up demon, and he's regenerating his arm. But I want to draw attention to one aspect panel here. There's a close-up of his eyes.
They're empty.
It looks like they're smoking.
Yeah.
Like they're on fire. And I have seen people point out, like, this is what, when Big Mom was fighting Kid and Raw, and she, like, did that, like, soul, like, she used her own soul to power herself up. And her shit went crazy. Her eyes did the exact same thing. Ooh. So it might be something soul related. So low-key, Big Mom's Devil Fruit could be a very interesting thing to maybe pin on the ever-expanding corkboard of things to look out for in One Piece.
One of the most powerful devil fruits as we've ever seen.
And maybe there's some type of connection that can help with Emu's bullshit or something, maybe.
I wonder how Zeus feels about all of this.
That Zeus is going to be low-key a potential very interesting source of information. And
he turned himself into a pickle.
Brogy is now taller than
he's
the other
actually
giants.
huge.
He's taller than the
he's as big to the giants as the giants are to normal people.
Yeah, he's about Or size. He's about Loki Or size again.
Which actually explains how big, those original giants were.
Do you remember post-Thriller Bark? Those weird-ass monster things in the ocean. Those towering shadow figures in the Floridian Triangle?
Not offhand.
Some people I've seen some people speculate that it's
oh yeah.
Yeah, suspecting that those things might be like some demons that Emu has created in the past.
Just hanging out the Floridian Triangle.
Yeah, which would be a good place to put them.
Well, of all things, I would expect Zoe to be there.
His face is terrifying. Give us our boss back. You've never raised a hand against us, and he just smacks him away. A warrior's pride. Gah, bah, 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 bah. I feel like I could do anything. What is this sensation? And Dory also gets sucked up. Yeah. Man, let's go kill Ja Rule. Snap out of it.
What about the kids?
And the people are crying out, and more giants are getting sucked up into this.
Oh, I don't like this.
Was it because they were caught between them? Either way, it's fall back, and we just have demons and nightmares attacking Elbaf. And I guess this is Emu watching. Not bad also. This is Elbaf's true power. Don't raise everything. This land must be ruled. Yet let us observe but a little longer to assay their worth in battle. And then the giants are running back. Please run, Ja Rule Sama. The chiefs aren't acting normal. But Ja Rule's like, you're telling a warrior to run? No.
Oh my god.
And that's how the chapter ends. So Dory and Brogy have been taken over. And you are not going to believe this one, my guy.
Oh?
Chapter I want to say it was like 646.
That's quite some time
or
from now.
Something like that. Yeah, One Piece chapter 633. It's titled Friend or Foe, and on the cover story was Dory and Brogy. Friend or foe, after 1150, where they have become taken over by Emu, and now are arguably foes. They were the biggest of friends and allies to the Straw Hats, and now they might be foes.
God damn it.
Oda is a goddamn insane genius.
800 chapters he waited to execute on this joke.
Yeah. But also, I now think you realize... But now I think we're starting to see the fights that we're going to have. Yeah. We're going to have Luffy, possibly Loki, fighting Emu Gunko.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it. What are Dory and Brogy famous for?
Their combined attack Shikaku supremacy.
No. How were they first introduced?
Oh, they were fighting on an island for 100 years.
Yeah. Who are two characters that fight each other damn near every chance they can get?
Zoro and Sanji.
Yep. Demon Monster, Dory and Brogy are going to be Zoro and Sanji's respective fights. Yeah. And so, but that does leave me wondering, and I also think that, the new giant Hajrudin is going to have to queue up on someone.
Yeah.
I don't know if... Chopper's going to have to heal up Scopper, or they're going to have to figure shit out to deal with the other Holy Knights.
This is...
Because keeping it a buck...
I don't think...
Jinbei can't stop them.
I don't know if the gang wins this right now.
There's going to have to be some bullshit pulled out. Low-key, I think Brook might have to come in clutch here with his soul powers.
Yeah. It's like, buddy, now is the time to awaken that devil fruit of yours.
Mm-hmm. But can I just say, home run, home run, home run.
Slam dunk, motherfucker.
Like, Oda truly just... Like, people... I have something like, oh, this isn't really a pirate thing anymore. It's like...
No, this is still fucking pirates.
Yeah, It's...
the Vikings were famously pirates.
Yeah, Vikings definitely were pirates, so this is just kind of the extension. And, one of the big things about pirates, being free, going against the government and everything. So, yeah, it makes sense a little bit still. But I do hope, after Elbaf, I'll see more pirate shenanigans. I want to leave the demon stuff for one saga.
Yeah.
The Elbaf arc and Egghead arc, cool. Let's leave the demons.
Let's just have a brief return to form.
Let's just go back to some bullshit pirate stuff rather than bullshit demon stuff next arc. Which, again, I'm not complaining about this stuff. I think it's incredibly cool. I just don't want it to be the only thing going forward.
We don't want the Naruto problem, where it's like, this is about ninjas and they're just wizards.
Yeah.
But incredible 3 chapters right there, I must say.
We had to play catch up here.
Yeah,
and
we were due.
1151 will be coming out soon, and that's going to... And the fact that we did get mention of Luffy and the others, like, they're probably... I mean, it's been a little bit, we're going to check in on them, but also a reminder that Emu knocked out a bunch of, I'm going to say it, angry parents. I would imagine that the desire to protect their kids would give them some good willpower.
Also, these aren't just
Emu's
people,
conquerors
these are giants.
hockey, just no.
Flat.
Just newspaper to head, put him to sleep.
That's... Oh my god, man. So Emu is absolutely... Remove Emu from Front Watch.
Yeah, like the Joy Boy hockey twerk that caused Emu to twerk out a little bit. Emu's been redeemed from that.
Emu showed back up with a thug shaker.
But also, Emu has done legitimate moves, has used named stuff before Monkey D. Dragon and Mihawk.
Yeah. 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 God bless.
It just, like, you almost see all this stuff and it's like, how can they win?
How could they possibly live up to the hype?
I mean, you have to remember, Low-Key has a special bounty of 2.6 billion.
Yeah.
Luffy, we technically don't know his post-Egghead bounty, but also not a lot of time has passed in universe since Egghead.
It's not long. Actually, I have his poster here somewhere now.
Yeah, I put it over there under by the TV.
Oh yeah, 3 billion.
Yeah, 3 billion. That was post Wano. We can imagine that post Egghead, he would get a bounty jump because publicly he'll be blamed for Vegapunk's death.
Yeah.
And everything else, but I think in world you've only had like a day or like a couple. I don't even know, a full week has passed since Egghead. So I don't know if you've had time, if you've been the world government, to determine the new bounties for... Because I can imagine there is actually a process for establishing bounties.
Yeah.
Rather than just randomly pulling a number out of the air.
Yeah.
Like, I actually do see, like, if a captain gets an updated bounty and it's for a notable thing, the crew will sometimes get, like, a proportionate bounty. Like, if the bounty went up 3 times, the current bounty of that member of that captain's crew will go up by 3.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, you can't really multiply 3 billion by 3 because then it's 9 billion, and that's the highest bounty by far. So, but I can imagine Luffy has crossed 4 billion.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be around the 4 billion mark for a while.
Yeah, like because in active bounties, Shanks has the highest.
Yeah.
And then it's Blackbeard, and then it's Mihawk, and then it's... And I'm counting pirate bounties, I'm not doing Cross Guild. In terms of bounties issued by the world government, Shanks has the highest active, and then it's Blackbeard, and then it's Mihawk, and then it's Buggy, and then it's Law, Luffy, and Kid.
Well, with Luffy at the top of those 3.
Yeah. Power-wise, Luffy's the highest, but in terms of numerical bounty, those 3 are equal.
They each get a 3 billion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Kid, Law, Luffy all left Wano with price hit tags of 3 billion berry. And but the highest active bounty would actually be to Akainu with Cross Guild's 5 billion berry bounty. Garp and the 3 admirals also all have 3 billion berry bounties.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luffy's probably... What's really interesting is that, like, we did not see Blackbeard's bounty post beating Law. We have not seen Shank's bounty post One Tap and Kid. And we have not seen post Egghead Luffy bounty. So I think those will go up. I think Shanks will still be number 1 because he's now the longest active Yonko.
We also haven't seen much of Cross Guild in a while.
The last time we saw them was when Buggy declared they're going to find the One Piece. And I'm going to say Buggy is actually a real problem for Blackbeard in particular for finding the One Piece. Because Buggy knows where the poneglyphs are. He was on Roger's ship. He knows that Big Mom had one. He knows there's one in Wano.
Also, his crew likes him.
Yes, and he knows that Zoe is where the third poneglyph is. I don't think Blackbeard knows where. I don't think Blackbeard knows Zoe has that poneglyph.
Yeah.
No, granted, he did maybe take the copies of poneglyphs that Law had. So maybe he has those 3 copies, so he doesn't need Zoe's stuff. But Buggy can catch up to the other Yonko in an instant.
Yeah.
Just because of what he knows. But now the question is, where's that 4th road poneglyph? And actually, I was watching a YouTube channel. He watches all of One Piece, and he's in Odin's flashback, and he said in the flashback we saw a red poneglyph on Fishman Island, but now that one was gone. We know that Big Mom had a road poneglyph that Roger had to take a copy of.
Yeah.
So the one that Brooke made a copy of during Whole Cake was the same one Roger made a copy of back in his day.
Yeah.
We know that the one in Wano that was Kaido's was the one in Wano in Odin's flashback.
Yeah.
And we know that there's the one in Zoe. So that 4th road poneglyph is that one we saw on Fishman Island in Odin's flashback. We don't know where that one is now. There's the rumor of the man with the burn scar, which some people thought was Scopper Gabon, but if anything, Elbaf has confirmed that the man with the burn scar is not Scopper. Because let's face it, you're not keeping the road poneglyph. Like, there's been no mention of the poneglyph at Elbaf. If anything, Saul would have told Robin about it, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Which it hasn't. So I think it might be within. So that's going to be very interesting to see if we get a lead for the next poneglyph towards the tail end of Elbaf, maybe. But wrapping up here, the 3 chapters here, 1148, 1149, and 1150,
left my head spinning. Holy shit, man.
just reveals and pants shitting.
Shit farting.
Pants have been shat here, figuratively here with us, probably literally in Elbaf with some of the giant pirates, seeing their bosses get turned into demons.
Like, those guys are pretty fucking strong.
Yeah. And
you could just do that to people.
yeah, like, I've not really forcing these contracts onto people is something very, different than you see. We talked about this earlier. It's different from Chainsaw Man, where they made the deals with the devils themselves,
so they can negotiate the power.
Yeah. But this one, Emu straight up forces it. Like in all other media, we see you make a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
But this is oh no, the devil is forcing you through the door. Rather than waving you in, the devil's pulling you into the door.
They didn't even get a chance.
No.
Which,
Also, can I just say, though, really weird for Emu just pull out a big double-barrel shotgun to shoot Brogy's hand off.
I'm not going to say it made a whole lot of sense. All I'm going to say is rip and tear until it is done.
Yeah.
It was stupid. Yeah. It was so fucking cool and terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Literally just pulled out the golden blicky from her ass and just, boom, blew his friggin' arm off.
Yeah. Having the power to blast through a giant's arm is very jeez. Yeah. But also, gun? Usopp victim?
Question mark?
Usopp victim? Maybe Usopp can finally not be in a close-range combat situation for once?
Yeah. Please, it's been since Dressrosa.
Yeah. And before Dressrosa, it was Enies Lobby.
Maybe he could
show off his sniper skills.
Maybe he'll actually evolve to a gun.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but
be like his dad.
Yeah. Who didn't want to pay the child support post-Wano.
Yeah, Sop, you motherfucker.
But that will do it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Tell us what you think about Emu's powers, because, oh my god.
It's definitely a game changer, for sure.
Catch you next time.